This is Cruise Radio.
Now more than ever, you should consider trip insurance for any kind of trip you take, not just cruises. Get a free quote at tripinsurance.com.
Broadcasting from the tripinsurance.com studios in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Cruise Radio.
Earlier this year, Scott took a 7-night Western Caribbean cruise on Princess Cruises' Sky Princess out of Port Everglades. And Scott joins us on the line. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you?
Good, buddy. Before we get to the ship itself, we'll take a step back as we always do. Now, you live in very, very, very northern Canada, so it's probably a given here. But what made you want to take this 7-night Western Caribbean cruise out of Florida?
I live in northern Saskatchewan, and I'm between Flin Flon and Saskatoon. Mm-hmm. So for me to get to the airport, it's 7+ hour drive. And so I woke up in the morning to drive out, and I was blessed with quite a few inches of snowfall during the night. And let's just say the highway was clear because no trucks were on the highway or cars were on the highway from Sandy Bay, Saskatchewan to Saskatoon. Not much traffic anyways. It was a lonely highway.
Wow, 7 hours you said?
Oh, plus, because of the heavy snowfall, it was more like 9 hours.
Jeez.
And you're just driving very careful because you don't want to you put the truck into the ditch, there goes your cruise,
Yeah, no. Yeah, you got that right. So you got the heck out of Dodge and you made your way down here to sunny Florida. Any pre-cruise time down before you boarded Sky Princess?
Well, I had an Airbnb in Saskatoon, and from Saskatoon I had 2 flights that took me to Fort Lauderdale, and Fort Lauderdale I arrived in for the night before, and I stayed at a hotel near the cruise port.
Okay. Very good. And so you go to board Sky Princess. Of course, Princess has the ocean medallion. A lot of stuff is done before you get to the cruise port. It's a pretty seamless embarkation. Well, normally it is. How was it for you once you arrived at the pier?
It was less than half an hour.
Nice.
It was very quick. Well, the ship is like 3,600 passengers, but on our cruise there was I heard someone mention it was just over 1,200 passengers, and I heard someone say 1,500, so well under 50%.
Nice. Man, you had a ship that big, you almost have it to yourself with 1,200 people on there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was very cautious just because even though, you're vaccinated, but coming in from Canada, the government put heavy restrictions on to travelers, mm-hmm. and they just wanted essential travel only, so I wasn't even allowed to get travel insurance.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I see.
So,
you had to...
yeah, so it was pretty serious, and, a little bit of anxiety going through you, and you get vaccinated coming into the States and, vaccinated going out of the States. So, it was a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, you had to slip out the back door to make your way to Florida. Nice.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so once you get on board Sky Princess, what were your first impressions?
You're right there, right in the ship. As soon as you board, you're right on the ship, and you're in the main area, and there's a grand piano right in front of you with a, piano player, and it was beautiful, and I was very taken with it. Yeah,
those Royal Class ships are just so beautiful. What kind of stateroom did you have on this 7-night cruise?
I had an interior room. I was impressed with the layout of it. Really impressed with the bed. Really nice mattress. Let me rest well, and it was just a very good location. And it was room R723. I actually did a vlog on my YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to check it out, just look up R723 Sky Princess.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. How about the walk-in closet? I know that a lot of the Princess cruise ships have the closet. I don't want to say it's a walk-in closet, but a lot of closet space kind of outside of the bathroom. Did your cabin have that?
As soon as you walk in, there is a generous amount of space for the closet. It is a bit of a closet. It's not a walk-in, but you have a lot of ample room, let's just say.
Yeah. Aside from the walk-in closet, did you find there to be plenty of storage elsewhere, enough plugs and everything to suit you?
Oh, yes. I had lots of room in my cabin just because the closet was quite large. So
yeah. Okay.
It was no problems with that at all.
Well, let's talk about the dining on board Sky Princess, and we'll start up at the top there at their Lido Marketplace area, the buffet area. What did you think about that throughout the week?
They served you, which I liked because, you're not tempted to take too much food and waste anything. So every morning I go up there and get my breakfast. So I just have the 2 types of salmon that they were serving, and enjoy my coffee and have some side dish of fruit. It was really good food. It was for a cafeteria style dining. It was probably the best type of cafeteria dining I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, and that little bakery part too in the middle with those like homemade cinnamon rolls and donuts and stuff every morning, just amazing too.
Oh, I know. Only 15 calories each.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Did you have like any like lunch, or did you dine in there for dinner or anything like that throughout the week in the buffet area?
During dinner, Lali Loca would meet in one of the main dining rooms. And every evening I went, I did a lunch at a specialty restaurant, which was Bistro sur la Mer.
Mm-hmm.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
But I kind of regret not going to the steakhouse.
Yeah, that Crown Grill for $28. That's a hell of a deal.
I walked by the Crown Grill bar each day, and I was just impressed with the decor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They did a really top-notch job with that decor. But the bistro was good. The bistro was very good. I had the Saint Jacques meal, which was the scallops,
mm-hmm.
and the mole Florentine, which was eggs with like a spinach, mm-hmm. and that was good.
Nice.
But I regret not going to the steakhouse.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to do that next time if you sell Princess again. The main dining room with y'all's group dinner, did y'all have a set dining time, or did you have an anytime type dining?
We did have a set dining time, and the cruise line gave us a little section that was for the group cruise itself. Mm-hmm. So we were quite, it was quite privileged so we could all be together in the same area.
How were your meals in the main dining room throughout the week?
The main dining room was very good because when I've cruised before, I'd usually get 3 to 4 evenings of specialty dining. Mm-hmm. But because it's a group cruise, I wanted to be with the group.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed. I had really good beef, really good seafood. I had prime rib that was to die for.
They have a solid main dining room food. You mentioned that this was your first time sailing Princess. What other lines have you sailed?
Norwegian 4 times. I did Norwegian, and I was on the Anthem.
Okay.
A couple years back.
Gotcha. Very nice. Any poolside venues or anything they have that really good, they have the good pizza place by the pool there. What's it called? Slice, I think?
Yes, it is called Slice, and I did have some pizzas there on occasion, and I'd have their hot dogs. And for a poolside pizza place or hot dog place, they did a really good job. Yeah. And their tacos were very good too. I did go to the main pizzeria on the ship for lunch once, and that was really impressive. It was oven-baked pizzas, I guess.
Yeah, Alfredo's will knock your socks off.
Which is really good. Alfredo's.
Yeah.
But going back to Slice, yes, it was very good. And on the deck, that's where I was able to catch the Super Bowl.
You have a pretty big Super Bowl party with drink specials and food and all that during the game?
Because you're cruising under 50%, it was kind of sparse, actually, to be quite honest. So it wasn't a big gathering. It was kind of more or less kind of quiet. It had a quiet feel to it.
Okay.
But I was very impressed with the screen and the audio of the Super Bowl on the ship.
Yeah. That's quite the experience too, celebrating Super Bowl out there at sea. Very, very cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Aside from Super Bowl, how was the entertainment throughout the week for you guys?
I'm not a show guy, but we did have a rock opera, and I really like rock opera. It was really well done, and a couple of fellows from performed other nights as well. So you're getting some really good music, performed for you. Mm-hmm.
Did you spend any time like in the that Take 5, I believe, at the jazz club there, or any of the other venues around the ship where they have a piano player or the guitar player outside of Crown Grill, or places like that?
Well, there was the guitar player on the I think it was on the 7th level, the 6th level, mm-hmm. if I'm not mistaken. Where the coffee stand is?
Yeah.
It was quite good there. It was very chilled out, very relaxed feeling. But I did go to the live area where they had trivia nights and they had the show nights, the game shows, sorry, they'd have them up, up in, I think it was in live. And they were good. I was surprised that everything was always late in the evening, that they really didn't have much going on during the day.
The trivia in Princess Live is pretty hard. Either I'm really dumb. I didn't get one of them right. I think we did like U.S. history, I think. Couldn't get one.
I did pretty good. We came second. Lolita Loca team came second.
Nice. That's safety in numbers, too, if you had a big team. It was just two of us playing.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, let's talk about the sea days before we get to the ports of call. How was the ship? You mentioned it was like half capacity. So how was it as far as crowds and congestion during the sea days?
You never had to wait for an elevator. You never had to wait, there's no lineups to deal with or anything like that. If you wanted to go from A to B, it was easy. Mm-hmm. It was easy. And we had the medallion apps, which were kind of interesting. On the first day, I was really impressed with the medallion app because it would show me where other people in the group were on the app, connected to my phone. But on day 2 or 3, the app became kind of useless in that way. Mm-hmm. It just kind of stopped. The only use that it had was when you walked by your door, it would open the door or, kind of unlock it and a little light would go off.
Yeah, I mean, in concept, it's a good idea, but there's still, we're 5 years into this, I think, right now, and there's still a lot of bugs to work out.
I was even curious about a safety point of view because I knew on the cruise there was a female passenger, and she was kind of avoiding this other guy, and she was going near her cabin, but she didn't want her cabin to light up because she didn't want the person to know where she was staying. So. But the ship steward was smart enough to put his trolley in front of her cabin to block it from opening.
Wow. That's
so, thank goodness for the, for that cart blocking that. So
yeah,
just something to think about,
Yeah, that is a little invasive too. Like you don't want people knowing where you're staying. Like, I don't know. Like I think of like Tony, right? When his name's on his door. He could have somebody knocking on his door, not someone from your group, but anyone really, like people that people know, or even like just regular people too. I don't know. I think it's like, it just feels like it's kind of invasive to me having your names on the panel outside.
Well, especially someone who's so public like Tony, like your stateroom is your domain and you don't need to be bothered by someone or someone knocking on your door because, you're so public as it is.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's a refuge.
100%. So let's talk about the ports of call you went to on this 4-night cruise. What we'll do here is give me the port of call, the first one, and give me a highlight, and we'll move to the next one.
Okay, the first one was Grand Cayman, but that was scratched out because that port of call wasn't ready yet. So instead, we lucked in. We went to Costa Maya, and I was excited because that was going to be our first of 2 Mexican port of calls. Mm-hmm. And I was in Costa Maya. That was pretty cool. It was setting up, so it had a lot of things to tweak out because it was just opening up after COVID. It was slowly opening, so it was a very quiet port of call. I was fortunate to travel with someone who speaks Spanish very well, so I really enjoyed it. We went to a hole-in-the-wall restaurant and had a really fantastic lunch, and where all the locals would eat. Nice. And probably the best tacos I've had in years.
It makes a big difference with Costa Maya. Like, were y'all the only ships in port?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So you had it like to yourself, and you were at half capacity. So you basically had Costa Maya to yourself.
Yeah, it was very quiet. It was very quiet. And I have to say, during the ports of call, like all the ports, they were cautious. Everyone was wearing their mask and whatnot, but they were very respectful of visitors on their turf. So I really appreciated that.
And then after Costa Maya, what was your next port?
Next port was Roatan. The weather coming into Roatan, it was raining a lot and it was a little bit windy. But coming from northern Saskatchewan, I really didn't care. But
right.
My excursion was canceled, and that was what was it? The Jolly Roger, I think it was.
That's the pirate ship.
It was the Jolly Roger's catamaran tour.
Okay, yeah.
And our excursion, and that was canceled. So I basically I was with my friend again, who speaks great Spanish, and we toured around the port for a little while, and we finally booked in to see the sloths through Bodden Tours, Bodden. I think I'm pronouncing it right, but that was a really good refuge for the sloths and the parrots and the monkeys. Like, it was very clean. It was very well run and very humane. And of course, that was my first time I got to hang out with sloths, and I was really taken with that.
You know, Victor, that's the guy, Victor Bodden, he's been doing that for years, and he has one heck of a business and one heck of a sanctuary there. The guy is just so cool. I
really liked the setup. Like I said, it was very clean. You know, the people working for him, they were very knowledgeable. It was a really, I was quite, you know, very impressed, and I was really fortunate to take that in and, you know, I'm glad I did the sloths rather than doing the Jolly Roger.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And of course, I visited, you know, a couple places in Roatan, and I was impressed with the area and stopped at a couple, you know, like to have lunch and to have drinks. And that was very nice.
Yeah, sounds like a nice day. So after Roatan, what was your next port of call?
Belize City.
And that's a tender port, right?
That's a tender port, and got into Belize. And our excursion, I was with a few people from the ship and from the group tour. And what we did was we did the tubing in the caves, and that was fun. That was very leisurely. You know, you weren't going to break a sweat doing that.
Do you have to strap the flashlight on your head still?
You got the flashlight, yeah. You got the helmet, and you got the tubes going.
That's a cool excursion.
It was a good time. It was, you know, you just chilled out and enjoying life.
Yeah. Your final port of call. Well, actually, you know what? Before we get to Cozumel, is Belize City, I haven't been there since 20, I don't know, let's just say 15 or so 7 years. Is the port area still rough, or have they cleaned it up a little bit?
I didn't find it rough. I've lived in numerous countries during my life, and I've lived in rough areas before, so it didn't really bother me. But no, I didn't find it rough.
Yeah, that's good. And your fourth port of call was Cozumel, Mexico. So your second Mexican port. How was your day there? Oh,
the day was sitting down on a beautiful beach and enjoying great tacos, cold Mexican beer. It was good. It was. I went to a private resort. I can't remember the name of it. You know, go snorkeling, and now the snorkeling was all right. It wasn't like being in Maui where you see, you know, umpteen fish around you or sea life, but you know, you're in the water and you're just enjoying it.
Was that resort Nachi Kokum or like Mr. Sancho's?
No, I think those were sold out.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to remember it. I just can't at the moment, but it wasn't Mr. Sancho's.
Gotcha. Sounds like a nice day, even though you didn't have your Hawaiian reefs off the coast of Mexico, but the beer and tacos sound great.
Oh, yeah, the tacos are great. I think it was called Buccanos, if I'm not mistaken.
And that was your final port of call, so what was it, a sea day and then back to Everglades?
Yes. I loved the sea day. I took in the comedy show, and, you know, when you're on NCL, you're used to a more intimate, like a club scene, you know?
Yeah.
But on the Sky Princess, you're in a large theater, so it's a very different feel, especially the large theater being so sparse. It was kind of a bit odd.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk a moment about the Ocean Medallion that you said it opened your door. You can also have the capability of ordering drinks on demand and, you know, using it for signing on and off the ship. What ways did you use it on board?
I ordered from my TV. Mm-hmm. So I had the remote, and I ordered some snacks, late night snacks on the TV. I had a little bit of celebration from the casino, so I treated myself to some snacks that were, I'm trying to eat healthy, but these snacks were, let's just say they were tasty. It came pretty quick. I was pretty impressed with that. Was the smoking bad in or around the casino? No, it wasn't. And I'm trying to recall whether you could smoke in it or not, because I'm not sure, but it may have been smoke-free because it wasn't bothering me, or, you know, my eyes weren't red at all. Yeah, so. If it was back in February, it probably was smoke-free still. Right. Yeah, I didn't think about that. There was a smoking section on deck. I think it was, I'm not sure which deck it was, but it was one of the higher decks we could go out and, if you're a smoker, and enjoy a cigarette. Yeah, there was that casino, deck. I'm pretty sure it was smoke-free. Yeah. I think they didn't let smoking start until like March or April maybe on those ships. Right. Because I remember the smoking deck was in the back of the ship, like one deck above the aft pool right there. There's that little deck where the smoking section was. Yes, that's right. I remember that now. Yeah. All right, you're back in Port Everglades. How was your debark? Disembarkation, I carried my luggage off with me, and it was very swift. Basically, the ship, was a few people on it, so it was very easy.
Very cool. Well, looking back on this cruise, do you have any suggestions or tips to offer anyone who is considering sailing Sky Princess?
Oh, I would go for it. I really enjoyed the Sky Princess. I would go on another group cruise in the New York Minute. I would sign up for another group cruise.
Yeah.
Sky Princess, the internet was very fast on that cruise. It was consistently fast. So I was very impressed with the internet. The food was probably the best food on a cruise ship that I've had. So I would cruise again on Princess.
What was the biggest highlight of this cruise for you?
I've had a couple of cruises canceled because of COVID. So finally getting on that cruise ship, that was my first cruise in over 2 years. So that was my highlight. And going on the group cruise and meeting up with fellow travelers from the local fam.
Yeah.
I really appreciated their company.
Mm-hmm. Was it a production getting back into Canada, or was it pretty simple?
Going to the States, you needed the antigen test, which is pretty straightforward. But coming back into Canada, at that time, you needed the PCR test.
Yeah.
So I got tested at Port, and I got my results back several hours later when they contacted me at my motel. And you're going through some anxiety there just because if you were tested positive, you cannot go on your flight. So,
yeah. And you didn't have travel insurance either. But I guess if you,
That's right.
if you tested positive on the ship, they would basically keep you up and take care of you. But if you're off the ship, you're on your own, I guess.
They tested you compliments of the cruise line, but you were off the ship getting tested.
Okay. I guess rules have changed now, right? Like you don't really need, you can just fly back to Canada?
Rules have changed. For for all Canadians, you still have to do the ArriveCan app. So you have to put down all your information and records of your tests and and your vaccinations and whatnot, and a picture of your passport onto that app. Also, Americans and anyone else that are doing Alaskan cruises, for example, or Eastern Canada cruises in New England, you still have to download that app.
Yeah, I just had to use it 2 weeks ago coming back from, I did Discovery Princess from Los Angeles up to Vancouver, and I had to download the ArriveCan app to clear customs in Victoria before we got to Vancouver.
I would also recommend people to do it well over a week before you take off, just because it might take a day or two to process it. So you got to be on the safe side.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, in closing here, your final thoughts of Sky Princess.
Beautiful ship, just inside it out. And I would definitely go on Sky again. It was very classy, great food. Internet was a bonus. We're living in a day now where internet is essential, and I've never been on a cruise where internet was that fast. And really enjoyed the group that I get to hang out with on that week. It was a real pleasure.
Very cool. We've been talking with Scott about his 7-night Western Caribbean cruise aboard Princess Cruises Sky Princess. Scott, thank you so much for sharing your review, my friend, and I look forward to your next one.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Have a question or a comment for the show? Yeah! Send an email or voice memo to doug@cruiseradio.net.
A big question we get at Cruise Radio is, how do I know if I need trip insurance? Simple answer. If you're getting on a plane, taking a road trip, or getting on a cruise ship, you need to have travel insurance. Hey, it's Doug Parker from my friends at tripinsurance.com. Not only does tripinsurance.com protect your vacation investment, but it also gives you peace of mind in case anything were to go wrong on your trip. How do they do it? They offer 3 different types of trip insurance policies. Good, better, and best. One policy for every vacation budget. But it doesn't just stop there. They're up to 40% lower when you shop around on other comparison sites. Plus, tripinsurance.com offers 24-hour customer support before, during, and after your trip, online claims assistance, and travel alerts to let you know what's going on at your destination. But find out for yourself. Check out tripinsurance.com.
All right, Dougie, let's see what we got for you, buddy. Cruise Radio is produced at the tripinsurance.com studios in Jacksonville, Florida. Get cruise news, ship reviews, and money-saving tips every Thursday on Cruise Radio. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show. If you want to help spread the word, give Cruise Radio a 5-star review. Find Cruise Radio where you listen to your favorite podcast or online at cruiseradio.net. I'm your announcer,